What's up, guys? I'm SaltEMike, and this is your Star Citizen Week in Review for December 20th, 2021. ISC comes with a year in review this week. They finally tell us what happened with 3.16, and they put out the stupidest ship I've ever seen. All that and more on today's Week in Review. And with that, if this is your first week in review, this is where I take all of the official Star Citizen news each week and put it into one video. Also, I live stream on twitch.tv/SaltEMike every day but Monday, so I can get this video out to you guys. And I have a React channel. I post videos of my live reactions to things like ISC and SCL and other videos as well. We're going to start kind of branching that out to just random videos on the internet that might be interesting. So feel free to check that out. Link is in the card above and in the description as well. Now, we have a lot to get through this week, so let's start out with patch notes updates. They had 4 patches out of the 7 days, and including one on Saturday. So we'll go through these quickly, as the reasons behind the lack of substance in these patches kind of will be answered with the roadmap roundup in the next section of the video. So, starting out with 3.16e, they just did a little Grav Lev update, speeding up the bikes, all while keeping them a bit more on the ground and not flying in the air or crashing into things. They attempted to turn mounted guns into infantry suppression weapons. More on that later. You'd think it'd have to do with Jumptown, but it didn't. 3.16f is just bug fixing. The big one is preventing players from going invisible. This had something to do with the 400i, I think. Also an attempt at fixing security bunker missions, which is not 100% fixed. 3.16g, a little Grav Lev stuff, but mostly bug fixes. And again, not the bugs that you would consider a priority, which is a bit of a concern. 3.16h, more bug fixes, the usual fix for prison missions and mining not working again, but also none of these really major issues with 3.15. They're all still standing. So that is the patch notes this week. E, F, G, and H, that's it. Not too much there to ride home about, but we still have a couple days left before they head out for Christmas break. Roadmap updates. The reason 3.16 is incomplete or non-existent. 3.15 basically took forever to get stable and good enough, which is debatable if it even is good enough. They took almost until the 3.15.1 patch to even get it out, and then when that one came out, it basically broke everything that they had fixed. This is the big part. Instead of bringing in 3.16, all the work that they were doing in what the 3.16 branch would be, they're just going to try to add some of that stuff to the 3.15 build, basically making a 3.15.2. For reference on what I mean by stable and what they mean by stable, because 3.16 they're basically saying is extremely unstable, and 3.15 is the most stable patch they've ever had, so they want to make sure that you have a good experience and don't want to deliver an unstable build to you. Reference on what stable is that really just means crashes, both server crashes and client crashes. They're not talking about bugs. They're not talking about missions not completing. That's not what they mean by stability. That's quality of life, basically. And we need a lot of that, but they made the right choice here. They're basically have the choice of giving us a patch that will not even function at all in 3.16, or giving us one that is at least stable, but highly not functional as well in 3.15. And I think it's the right decision, and I think it's the first time they've ever made that decision before. They've never had to go, yeah, this is a good patch, we want people to keep enjoying the game. They've always just kind of, we have to get features, we have to put content out, we have to finish the game. I think they're finally realizing that this game is not going to finish anytime soon, and what the players experience, that actually means something to them. So I don't feel like they actually deserve a pat on the back here, though, because this is all self-induced. You look back to a previous roadmap update where they said things like looting and inventory and medical just needed a bit more polish. Obviously, that was never the case. If you've touched 3.15 for any amount of time, you know that just wasn't true, because it still needs a lot of polish, not a bit. And I'm happy as can be to experience 3.16 without always having to look over my shoulder and wonder if there's going to be a 30K, ruining whatever I'm trying to do that day. But something in 2022 needs to change with how they deliver patches and features in the future. They need to give us a live build, and they need to treat that with respect, as it is a live build that people may want to progress in. And then a PTU where they work on things and stabilize stuff. But then they said this. By the way, committed state actually means 90% of the time the feature will make it into the build. They really felt like they had to remind us of that. But the difference here is this just wasn't one feature that people were excited about. It was the entire build. And, you know, something crazy happened here, and this was incredibly patronizing, I felt like. We get it. But for the 9th year in a row, you have set expectations you can't even remotely deliver on. Who should have the patronizing tone? You or me? Us, the backers. So what do we get now? And what are we going to get later? We get the Area 18 Hospital now, Dying Star rework, Grav Lev Physics, and Jumptown 2, which I don't think a lot of people are happy with the features of Jumptown 2 either. What we're going to get later is the Derelict Puzzles and Laser Trip Mines. That'll be in 3.16.1, which is going to come sometime in the new year, as well as DNA Heads and Mining Gadgets in 3.17. Now, things added to the progress tracker, lockable containers, this is Q2 2022, FPS devices, probably around the same time, so not worth paying attention to when, just that it's planned, I guess. And then vehicle tech team, they changed to a downstream team, so things like multi-grid SDF and just major vehicle tech things are they're gonna be seen later down the line than I think what people expected, as well as like cockpit animations. These are all off the roadmap until things are reshuffled for the new way that they'll be doing things, I guess. Then moving on to video updates, we had an ISC year in review. They basically did a video highlighting all of their videos in the past year, so I want to highlight some of those highlights. The Combat Summit, these all didn't like happen to give the patches the things that changed in the game that we're going to touch now, but it led to them. So capacitor gameplay, improved missiles, operator modes, things like that. Xenothreat Part 1. This was our first in-game live event. It had its issues, but it was fun. The rep system. This was the first turning point in the game for me. I thought it was a huge thing to add to the game. We had Ninetales Lockdown. That didn't hit too hard, but I'm looking forward to seeing what they do with it in the future. Xenothreat Part 2. This was better, and it also had rewards. Crusader. As much as I hate this place, it's the best landing zone in terms of layout, maybe not getting in and out of it. And it's the last planet in the system, so it was so important to get it in there so we can start moving on to others. Then 3.15 happened. Downstates, hospitals, injuries, healing, inventory, looting. Absolutely insane. The most impactful patch I've seen in my many years covering this game. And that's where we are now. Hoping the fixes to those issues will come in with the 3.15.2, 3.16 patch. We'll have to see. Then Jared ends it with something that I feel is it's a really important clip to share.
All in all, it's pretty easy to look at 2021 and be incredibly proud of what we've accomplished together. We know it's not always an easy path, and that the road bumps and detours along the way can sometimes make for a frustrating experience. But for those of you who have watched this year's over 100 videos on YouTube or Twitch, or read the 250 plus comm links on the robertspaceindustries.com website, or engaged with the thousands of dev posts across Spectrum, Reddit, or social media, we hope this all gives you a sense of just how much this project means to us, how much your involvement sustains us, and how much we very often share the same feelings in both our victories and our setbacks. They say that video game development has always been a collaborative process, but perhaps if we've learned anything this year, it's that none may be more so than Star Citizen, and we're thrilled to have shared our 2021 with you. For Inside Star Citizen, and on behalf of Cloud Imperium Games, I'm Jared Huckabee. Come on and hang out with Jeremiah and I one more time before the holidays on Twitch tomorrow. And we'll see you right back here in the new year. Take care.
First, that was super genuine. And I appreciate Jared so much. Second, it just reminds you that everybody that works there is just like you and me. They're human. They care. They are passionate. They are frustrated with us, with the game, just like we are with them and the game. So it's always a good reminder of that, but I wish everything he said was true for everyone at the company. It has never felt that way to me, and I feel for his sentiments to speak for everyone, change needs to happen. We need to see less talk. We need to see more action. We need to stop hearing about quality of life and what they can do with some new tech that they've created. We need to see it in action. 2021, in my opinion, was the best year Star Citizen ever had. But it didn't have tough competition, and 2022 needs to be better. No more excuses. Action. Then the Cutlass Steel. This is the dumbest ship I've ever seen, but it's kind of a fan service ship. It's got an extra turret in the back that can be used by the co-pilot, 5 extra other handheld turrets that fire forever but track like shit. These are why I think these are meant to be, the anti-personnel change was meant for this ship, not necessarily Jumptown. And then, half a server's worth of seats. This ship is ridiculous. Then there was an SCL where it was Jared and Jeremiah Lee, just like a fun little, end of the year kind of thing. But Jared kind of shared the fact that he was going to be moving to Manchester, I guess. I didn't know this. I really haven't even watched it yet, to be honest. But things seem to be changing. That big 1,000 person studio, I wonder if there's some consolidation happening with the LA studio as well now that Chris isn't there. Because that was really the only point. The LA studio was mega tiny before, or almost non-existent, but because Chris lived there, it was built up. Now that he doesn't live there, what's going to happen? Then other updates, we had feedback threads for Jumptown 2. They made some changes where there's a buy-in for the criminal side, which is only 5,000. Bro, are they even listening? I don't agree with anything. It just feels like they don't agree with anything that we're saying, so they're just doing their own thing when we're the ones who have to play it. We've played Jumptown, we lived it, we loved it. You're not honoring the event, really in any way, and it's really frustrating to see what's going on here. Dying Star Map, I dare you to read the top comment. The dude went ham. Grav Lev, give your feedback on Grav Lev in this thread if you're, kind of testing it out and giving it a try. And then Bug Hunt. This is post your peskiest bug in this thread, and they'll probably do their best to try and fix it. Then there was a lore post, which is obviously geared towards Jumptown. And then lastly, the Luminalia, I think that's how to say it, celebration. Some more free gifts that people are crying about, but I thought that they were pretty cool. We got 3 different skins, 2 of these ice themed ones, which are sick, dude, and then 1 caterpillar one, which I think is really ugly, but it's just highlighting how garbage the paint system is and why paint, why would paint be limited to a ship? It makes no sense. One ship over another, I don't get it. Something has to change there, but yo, I'm loving that skin, and I hope we see more of those throughout the rest of Luminalia. Now, that'll do it for this week, guys. I want to say thank you to everybody on the YouTube channel. If you did see the end of Answer the Call, I'm going to repeat a little bit here, is you guys, the people who've watched this channel, have impacted myself and my wife more than you know. I've been able to go down to just 3 days a week working and focusing more on putting out more content for you guys, longer streams, more streams, less burnout. But by you guys clicking on the video, clicking the like button, commenting, getting us out there, and subscribing, you made a very special year for myself and my wife, where my wife doesn't have to go to work. She can go back to school and live one of her dreams that because she has bipolar, was never able to achieve until now, because she can focus on that one thing, because she doesn't have to go to some dead-end job until she gets this degree and can move on with her life and do the things that she wants to do with it. And again, just for me personally, this is a place where I get to be creative. I get to be myself. I get to say the things I want to say. And a lot of you guys are really positive about those things. Some of you guys aren't, and that's okay. But you guys have changed my life for the better, and I just want to say thank you. And I hope you all have a wonderful holiday. We'll see you again before the new year, but thank you. And thank you for watching. We'll see you next week.